welcome to another Transformers Generations review. This time we're looking at the Voyager class Sandstorm figure. This is a extensive retooling of the Springer figure, which I also just reviewed. And just like Springer, I had the gun stored up top, but I think it looks a hell of a lot better without it on, and it has a real nice dune buggy look to it. The rear wheels in the back give it a nice cartoonish look to it. Also really sets it apart from the Springer. And I didn't know for the longest time that this was actually a retooling Springer, because they did so much retooling on this that it looks like a whole new figure, and I really dig that. I really dig repaints like that. When it's just a straight up repaint, I usually don't like them, but when it's a retooling as extensive as this, I really like it. I don't have the problems as I did with the Springer, because these panels don't really move by themselves, so they stay together pretty well. But I also have still have problems with getting a windshield to stay in place. Also, this thing doesn't really peg in all too well, but it doesn't really matter, because you can still pick it up like this and it doesn't flop around on it. Here's a comparison with him and Springer. I just like Springer a little bit more just because I'm more familiar with the character, and I grew up on Springer. I always liked him, so just for nostalgic purposes, I like Springer more. But the Sandstorm is equally cool. Yep, and just a quick look at all the detail on him. Looks real nice. Yeah. Just like Springer, I do prefer the car mode a little bit more than the VTOL mode, just because I think it doesn't look bad. I just prefer this mode as his alternative. To transform Sandstorm into his VTOL mode, just like Springer, is relatively simple. Just bring this part back. Actually scoot the camera back a little bit more. Lift up the rear wheels and spin them around like that. Take these sections and bring them back to form the rear section of the craft. Separate these bits from the side and lift the windshield up, bring it up to form the cockpit, and just like Springer, actually this one's a little bit easier. Springer, definitely more of a pain for me. These panels, bring them around and fold the windshield down, and then bring these sections down like this. But on this one, they actually do peg in to the underside of the craft. Oh, I forgot to do this on Springer. I forgot to pull out the landing gear. Pull out these pegs here for the landing gear, and kind of get your thumbnail in there. And there is Sandstorm in his VTOL. And here is Sandstorm's VTOL mode, and it is very impressive. I do like the VTOL mode on Sandstorm more than the helicopter mode on Springer, but I still just a little bit like the dune buggy mode on Sandstorm just a little bit more. The fans here, the propulsion fans, can rotate to propel them forward, and they can stay down like this, make them hover like a helicopter. I guess that's kind of the point of VTOLs. And an ironic twist, Springer was originally going to be in Revenge of the Fallen, and he was going to be a VTOL similar to this. And so it's kind of funny that retooling a Springer gave him a VTOL mode. So kind of funny when you think about it. Really cool. Still really dig this. The landing gear can also retract like this, but for the sake of the rest of the review, I can leave them out. And of course, get a quick comparison with him and Springer. Like I said, with Springer, you can definitely see the similarities a little bit more in the flying modes. Yep, really impressed with this helicopter mode. Transform Sandstorm to his robot mode is very similar to Springer, but just a little bit more steps. Gonna go to back here, put up the landing gear, separate the legs, bring the foot forward like that, and legs are pretty much done. Bring it up a little bit. Separate these bits and bring them out to the side. And I believe I'm a little bit still always a little bit confused about the back piece here. Bring up the head. And as you're doing so, bring the chest piece down. Bring the arms up like so. Open up this panel here. Bring out the hands. Like so. Okay, and gonna leave this in the VTOL position and bring this piece down and bring these pieces out to the side like that, and I believe that's it. And yep, there's Sandstorm and Robot. Sandstorm in Robot mode is a very heavy, very hefty, very chunky bulk of a toy. Has the same articulation as Springer. Heads on the ball joint, so are the shoulders. Elbows are in a ratchet joint. The wrist swivel. Hips go in and out and swivel. Knees are clicky, and no real foot articulation, but there is. They are in a stance like that, so the figure can stand up nice and straight without his legs being all goofy looking. He can hold his gun in either hand, doesn't have a sword. And to fire his missile, you pull back on the black piece and it shoots it fairly nicely. There you go. And just a quick comparison with Springer. Springer's definitely the lighter of the figures, just because there's less plastic. I do think you might get a little bit of your money's worth more with Sandstorm, just because there's a lot more going on as far as looks wise with the figure. But a lot of people aren't really too familiar with Sandstorm, so they might be a little bit more drawn to Springer, which is not bad. I think you just get a little bit more of your money's worth, because the transformation is just a little bit more complicated on Sandstorm, and just, you know, you get a little more plastic. So I do think if you really don't care about the characters at all, if you don't have any G1 nostalgia for Springer, I think you might be like Sandstorm a little bit more. But of course, if you're a G1 purist or just love G1, you might be a little bit more drawn to Springer. But either way, it's a good purchase. Get one or the other, get both. You can't go wrong. Until next time, thanks for